The Pokemon franchise is known for a lot of its interesting character designs. I'm talking about the trainers, the professors, the gym leaders, the antagonists, and of course the Pokemon themselves. Pokemon come in many different groups. You have the starters, the legendaries, the paradoxes, Bidoof, etc. But if there's one group that always stood out to me, it would definitely be the fossil Pokemon. These extinct Pokemon from the past often need to be revived by artificial means, mainly by scientists. Majority of the mainline games feature these types of Pokemon, and they are a bit more rare to come by compared to other kinds, and the main method of getting them is by collecting a fossil from a non-playable character. There's quite a bit of these guys, so I decided to go on ahead and rank my top 10 personal favorites. So, without further ado... Okay, you have to be kidding me.
I have an exclamation symbol over my head. Let's battle!
Hold on, I have no time for battling. Nico, why are you in my video?
I heard you were ranking fossil Pokemon, so I need to throw in some rankings myself.
Well, I guess this is a collab video now. PSI Nico and I are gonna rank our top 10 favorite fossil Pokemon. We decided these rankings based on the averages of both of our individual tier list, and then we mixed them up. Keep in mind that these are our opinions and you might not see your favorite here, so don't go killing us in the comments. And if that upsets you, feel free to go to the Move Learner, teach your favorite Pokemon the moves Seed, Cope, and Mauled. But don't feel discouraged to post your top 10, because I would like to read those in the comments too. Also, don't go into this video expecting a super knowledgeable thing about all of its competitive stats and viability. I don't know anything about that. But yeah, we're going to be basing this on design, lore, and the vague material we do know about its stats, so keep that in mind. Anyway, I think this intro's been long enough. Let's get to ranking! You ready?
Yup.
Let's do it! Number 10! Evolving from the tiny yet highly defensive Shieldon, we have Bastiodon from Generation 4. It's actually kinda crazy how it took 4 whole gens to finally introduce a fossil Pokemon based on a dinosaur. Bastiodon isn't really seen as a good choice competitively due to more stable team options being out there, not to mention a pretty unfortunate typing with a lot of weaknesses. I always appreciated its silly design though, as it's literally a Chasmosaurus mixed with a frickin' bulldozer. Now that is definitely two things I'd never imagine I'd see together. It may be seen as a wall for battling, but I see it as a lovable wall.
Bastiodon might not have the best stats, but man, its defense is definitely no joke. Its move pool is pretty diverse, and its ability to sturdy can be pretty annoying. Also, look at its doofy little face, you gotta love him.
Number 9! From Generation 6, we have the beautiful Aurorus, which evolves from Amora. During my first ever playthrough of Pokemon Y, I picked up the Cell Fossil out of ignorance since I wasn't really familiar with the options, but I definitely wasn't disappointed. If I could describe the design of this Pokemon in a few words, it would be an icy galactic sauropod, and that makes a nice creative idea for a Pokemon. While this Pokemon struggles in defense due to its Ice Rock typing, which has a lot of weaknesses mind you, it can still do decently in terms of offense, and I can't just bring myself to not appreciate the design. The Aurora sails on its neck just always looks really cool, and also, listen to that cry. If that's not beautiful, I don't know what is.
This is definitely a Pokemon that gets overlooked because of that one other fossil Pokemon in Gen 6, which is a bummer, but no surprise. I have my own little story with the Amora line, as I've spent lots of hours trying to find a shiny in Sword and Shield. Don't do the KO method. For fast shinies, it doesn't work.
Number 8! Archeops from Generation 5. It's Archeops, right? Or Archeops? I don't know. It evolves from Archen after reviving the Plume fossil. I'm not really sure if it's even all that good competitively, but this Pokemon was always one of my go-tos on the team when playing through the Black and White story. Defeatus is its main ability, which isn't really all that good, but he does deliver in terms of his base attack being 140, which is incredible, and he has a fairly decent move pool. It's also very colorful, which makes it stand out a lot compared to the other fossil Pokemon.
I know this prehistoric bird isn't everyone's cup of tea, but hear me out. If we can believe that the Pokemon world is at least a little bit like ours, then this is the ancestor of so many bird-like Pokemon we all love. So it definitely deserves to be on this list.
Number 7! What happens when you mix a fossilized fish with a fossilized drake? You get the man, the myth, the legend, the sayer of Dracovish from Generation 8. Body of a dragon, head of a fish. Bro, Dracovish is built like a crayon drawing I'd show my mom. She'd say it looks nice, but we know dang on well she's lying. This thing looks absolutely ridiculous, but that's why I love it so much. Sword and Shield has such a unique way of introducing fossil Pokemon. You get all these different fossils together and turn them into completely bizarre creations, and there's no doubt Dracovish is one of the best ones. Due to its water dragon typing, its only weaknesses are dragon and fairy. Plus, it's one of the only two Pokemon with access to Fish's Rend, which is one of the most insane attacks in the game. Not to mention, that shiny is really nice. Also in Pokemon Shield, I read its Pokedex description, and it states that it cannot breathe unless it's underwater. Which means, when we have this thing on our team, it is in a constant state of suffering. Can relate!
It definitely looks, well, how do I put it, pretty amazing? I totally agree with Firebro here. While it does look like someone put it together with a manual upside down and full of doodles of a toddler, at the same time, it looks menacing, strong, and weirdly agile. I only heard good things about it when it comes to competitive play, and honestly, I'm here for it. I'll be rooting for you, Dracovish.
Number 6. Lord Helix, Omastar from Generation 1. While it may seem kinda tedious to have to get Ammonite all the way up to level 40 just to evolve it, Omastar is definitely worth the training. That move pool and that high special attack can make it a straight up menace, especially against fire types.
Ah yes, Omastar. The joy you sparked in my heart when I first saw your sprite in Pokemon Blue. It looked like it said hi to you in a dapper way, while waving. Omastar was definitely one of the Pokemon I wanted in my team, regardless of viability, but maybe I didn't care because I was like 5 when I played the game, so yeah.
Number 5! Coming up at number 5, we have Aerodactyl from Generation 1. You can get this Pokemon by reviving an old amber fossil. Pterodactyls are one of my all-time favorite prehistoric creatures, so naturally I'd have a huge love for a pterodactyl-based Pokemon. It has such a good design in both its base and mega form, and it can also come in very clutch with its high speed, making it a very good physical sweeper option when you need one. Also, back when I was a little kid, I used to play Pokemon Stadium a lot, and on my team it would be Charizard, Charmander, Charmeleon, Magmar, Dragonite, and Aerodactyl. That was my freaking dream team right there. I mean, it's not really good, but hey, I had fun. Good times, good times. You know, even though I kept losing. The rentals in that game really suck, by the way.
Something with Aerodactyl that I always forget is, this guy has a Mega Evolution. It looks really cool too. You see his fossilized remains in almost every Pokemon museum. Guess it was all over the place back in the good old Pokemon Stone Age, huh? I really like this Pokemon, but not as much as the next one. Sorry.
Number 4! Kabutops from Generation 1, evolving from Kabuto. Yep, all 3 fossils from the first gen are on this list, but can you blame us? They're so cool! I'm not a Gen 1er! Even though Kabutops suffers from its poor typing and not so good special stats, it has access to some nice abilities and has a good move pool. In Red, Blue, and Yellow, critical hits in those games were kind of a mess, as the Pokemon speed stat affected it. Being a fast Pokemon with high attack stats, a Kabutops equipped with Swords Dance and Slash, which already has a great critical chance mind you, made it a menace in those games. Kabutops, you are a physical sweeping god.
Kabutops has always been one of my favorite Pokemon ever. It looks so menacing. The overall design is really great, and the fact that Kabutops literally just evolved to walk on land to get more Pokemon to eat makes it even more like a total savage. Its overall design reminded me of Scyther as a kid, and its shiny is light green. Maybe I'm onto something.
Honorable mentions!
Before we announce our top 3, we wanted to throw a special shout out to these 3 fossil Pokemon that we love very much and ranked highly, but unfortunately did not make our final combined top 10 list.
Those 3 honorable mentions are Cradily, Caracosta, and Arctozolt.
We are terribly sorry that you 3 didn't make it in, no hard feelings. Also, gosh, I sometimes forget that Arctovish's head is stuck upside down. These fish hybrid fossil Pokemon were really made to suffer, weren't they?
And now, let's move on to our top 3.
Number 3! Our bronze tier Pokemon on this list is Armaldo from Generation 3, evolving from Anorith after reviving a claw fossil. Compared to most other fossil Pokemon, not many people often speak about Armaldo. It stands out from the rest, being the only fossil that's a bug type. Well, the only one that's not a legendary at least. Many fans often compare Armaldo to Gigan from Godzilla, and now I can't unsee it. That instantly made Armaldo super cool to me.
When it comes to Armaldo, I think we can all agree that its design is perfect. The only thing that always confused me about it as a kid was its eyes. I wanted it to have red glowing eyes so bad, and then I found out that its eyes are on the side of its head? While people may not use it competitively that much, in a casual playthrough, this guy is a must-have on the team.
Number 2! For our silver tier Pokemon on this list, we have Arctozolt from Generation 8. Yep, we have another fusion fossil Pokemon from Sword and Shield, but can you blame us? I'll never get over how awesome Galarian fossil mixing is. Arctozolt is created by fusing a fossilized bird and a fossilized dinosaur. I'm not too knowledgeable on how good this Pokemon is competitively, but man, this thing is adorable. I just want to hug it. I looked at its Pokedex entry, and jeez, I feel so bad for this thing. It really went extinct because it was so slow, and the only reason it has electric powers is because this thing is always shivering. Look at that big-ass icy block for a body he has. Now I feel guilty. These things are always in eternal pain and suffering. Maybe we shouldn't be buying fossil parts from that scientist named Careless. Wait, Careless? Careless? It all makes sense now. She's the true villain of Sword and Shield. Forget the chairman. She needs to be locked up.
I always got bad vibes from Careless for making these poor fossil Pokemon. But with Arctozolt? I don't know about you, but I think she created a peak fossil Pokemon right here. Arctozolt is not only cute, but its typing is very unique too. Just the thought of combining ice with electric type is really cool to me. And while I do love the design here, it makes me wonder, what would the Galar fossils look like if they were fused and revived by a competent scientist? I guess we'll never know.
Number 1! We have number 1, Tyrantrum from Generation 6. Evolving from Tyrant, which you get after reviving it with the Jaw Fossil. Legit, to me, it takes the cake, having one of the coolest looking designs out of Pokemon in general. What can I say? I like dinosaurs, and it's a freaking T-Rex. Also, the spikes on its head resembles a king's crown. Isn't that kinda ironic for being number 1 on the list? Now, in terms of battling, I hear he's not really the best, and that a lot of other Pokemon kinda outclass him. He does have good attack and defense, though he kinda suffers with everything else. While that's unfortunate and he seems to be not really the best choice, I still can't bring myself to not appreciate this Pokemon anyway. He just seems cool overall, and whoever designed him just really did their thing here. He is awesome.
I don't think there's too much I can add to your statement right here, Firebro. It is literally the best looking fossil Pokemon out there. Not only was it the obvious choice for me in X and Y, but when I saw it walking around the Crown Tundra DLC, I was really happy. It just looks so sick. And a big bonus point for me, it's shiny as blue. Oh god.
And that wraps up our combined top 10 list of our favorite fossil Pokemon. Seems like Tyrantrum really claimed the gold there. We had a good amount of honorable mentions that didn't make our combined, but nevertheless, we had a really good time recording this.
Here are our individual top 10 tier lists, in case you're curious.
If you guys loved watching this video, feel free to revive that fossilized thumbs up button by clicking on it.
Oh my god, bro.
And also in the comments, feel free to share your top 10 favorite fossil Pokemon, because I'll be reading.
Also, don't forget to click the video in the outro to see Firebro and I rank our top 10 favorite villagers in the Animal Crossing series.
Yep, there will be a link to that in the outro and the description box down below. Make sure you subscribe to both of us too. And thank you to the awesome channel members that support me for making this video possible. I think that's about everything. So with that, I'm gonna end off the video now. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I'll hope you'll stick around for the next video.